the son of the first Emperor of Dominion, inherited the realm in a state of war. Dastardly Kirimlans attacked without warning, and instability of succession surely stoked their war further. However, the Mercantile Guild's involvement must have given them pause, as the Xenos made only reluctant defensives. While this state of the war remained, Valerian focused on domestic affairs. Starting with administrative reforms, he sought to massively and rapidly expand the bureaucracy of the Dominion. For this purpose, both Mar Sara and Tarsonis Prime were to become pure centers of administration, recruiting entire armies of clerks to expand the imperial capacity. This policy of imperial prerogative has left a lasting mark on the Empire, and its consequences were many, some benefits only to be reaped later. A peculiar story of the early rule of Valerian has to do with the Yakuri system, discovered by the Dominion vessels at around 2250. In 2251, it was clear that two of the planets in that system were settled by primitive Xenos. These Xenos, being identical in nature, caused confusion among the Imperial Scientific Corps, until further findings proved that both planets Yakuri 3 and Yakuri 4 bore traces of extensive orbital bombardment. Thus, the working theory became that one of the two worlds was a colony of the other, but a conflict arose, leading to extinction of civilization as a whole. However, the peculiar system bore yet more secrets. A Terran research outpost bearing Imperial markings was soon discovered on Yakuri 5A. The lone scientist in charge of the outpost refused to identify themselves, only referring to their name as the Exile. While the mystery of the Exile has puzzled many, Valerian chose kindness over hostility and suspicion. The Exile was allowed to return to Korhal and continue the research, in exchange for a promise to never again return to Yakuri system. Before the Dominion ships have left according to their promise, however, Yakuri had another secret to divulge. A capsule in the debris surrounding Yakuri 5B. The atomic clock inside the capsule is counting down to a date 42 years away from the time of its discovery in 2251. And despite some suspicion among the military, Valerian chose the scientific approach yet again, leaving a drone of observation of the object and the clock. Could it be a weapon left by the warring factions of Xenos, whose remnants live on Yakuri 3 and 4, or a tool of the Exile? This remains one of the many secrets of the system, enthralling the public ever more, and drawing attention of creators and philosophers alike. Books, films, and other media has been made over the years since its discovery and exploration, and a small but devoted community is dedicated to tracing even the smallest leads that could provide more clues about the origins and history of Yakuri. Mystery and rumors will forever surround the rule of Valerian for this and many other reasons, such as the enigmatic prison-like world of the Kotair system guarded by a massive fleet of unknown origin, a long-lost work of Naomi Channing, an author from over 600 years ago, found many systems away from Korhal, or the Cybrex Central Nexus, finally discovered in 2256, right between the Kirimlan and Dominion space, in the Forbidden Zone. Allegedly, core hull vaults now serve as a storage for the ancient Xeno relic, Cybrex Warforge, a device able to quickly and efficiently convert massive amounts of raw materials into ship-ready alloys, which, no doubt, has served the massive expansion of Dominion fleet and its starbases, for which Valerian is fondly remembered long after his death. Moreover, Dominion labs came to be hard at work studying vast amounts of other Cybrex relics, rumored to have come from a massive ring world surrounding its star, while at the same time, powerful armies of war machines resembling those of Cybrex legend began appearing on Korhal among the Imperial Royal Guard. The Kirimlan War, in the meantime, has drawn to a final stage. Tired of Dominion intrusions into its space, and worried about the public opinion due to the lack of victories, the Commissariat ordered a vast fleet on a direct course with the Stalwart, the massive orbital base protecting one of the vital entryways in the Dominion space. Luckily, Strike Force Minotaur, under the command of Admiral Lenswe Okadigbo, managed to arrive merely hours after the Kirimlan attack swarm engaged Stalwart, thus turning the tide of battle and forcing a retreat. Losing only 5 corvettes and a destroyer to 11 corvettes of the enemy fleet, Admiral Okadigbo has distinguished himself in battle and was rewarded for his actions, as the decisive Battle of Waltham of 2252 proved to be final in the war. Humiliated, Kirimulans signed a peace of honor that same year, effectively ending the war in a white peace. However, since the war was declared by the aliens, Dominion propaganda managed to spin the narrative, painting the outcome as a massive victory for the defending Terrans. The post-war period of Valerian's rule is that of scientific advance and administrative expansion and consolidation. While his father brought the Dominion's word across many stars, Valerian focused on bringing these vast territories closer to the fold. During his reign, Chowsara, Terrador IX, and Braxis all returned to the Imperial control, with negotiations underway to restore Agria as well. Braxis is the most noteworthy of these worlds. Ancient Imperial drones were discovered still operating on the surface and in orbit, and the ancient Braxis Gardens, named Wenkward Gardens after the star the planet orbits, had returned to the Empire's control, allowing creative types to be inspired by its beauty once again. Many scientific projects have thus been completed or started during Valerian's reign, as he is remembered as a patron of science and art alike. Continuing secret cooperation with curators allowed the Dominion scientists to improve their archaeological studies and exploration tools. Corvette-type vessel hulls were strengthened, and the fleet was even to receive experimental regenerative hull tissue based on the research of the Zerg carapace, while further studies of the Protoss gateways allowed Terrans to gather means of reliable wormhole stabilization. And lastly, the Ghost program has been restarted after a long break, this time exploring possibilities of psionics as a whole. Two final mysterious occurrences are in regards with Valerian's later reign. First of which is the story of a crashed space station discovered deep within the forest of Tarsonus Prime. The colossal alien vessel immediately became a site of secret archaeological excavation effort by the Dominion, and it was soon uncovered that within resided a temple complex devoted to an AI nexus of the Oracle brand. Alas, Valerian himself did not live long enough to see the end of this research, as he died the same year this discovery was made. The second occurrence happened half the galaxy away, in a distant star system named Parsax. Initially mostly discarded after its discovery as a mere footnote of a backwater sector, only mention-worthy as the system of a rediscovered Antigua Prime, it soon drew attention of seismologists as rumbling and massive tectonic activity was recorded on Parsax 2, otherwise an uninteresting barren rock. It took a few years for the rumblings to finally result in a series of violent ruptures. This event, recorded in history as the Parsax Genesis of 2266, saw the birth of a giant void entity. Parsax 2 must have been an alien egg of Leviathan proportions the whole time, and the creature's first instinct was to feed. Unfortunately, the Voidspawn's target became the Dominion platform observing the system and the planetoid, and there was no time to evacuate the crew or the scientists. All 386 Terrans died as the newborn abomination tore the station apart. One day this Voidspawn will pay for this trespass, but for now Parsax remains the creature's domain as it roams from planet to planet. Empress Ray Haney I receives a dominion more stable than before. Mighty starholds ensure security of its space lanes. Countless stars are under its control. The vast and ever-expanding Dominion fleet now numbers almost 100 powerful vessels. Retaining minor guilds connections of her predecessors and understanding the importance of a strong naval force, her only concern now is the lack of a suitable heir apparent to the throne, causing whispers in the dark, stirring powerful houses, some vying for her favor, hoping to gain her hand in a powerful marriage, while others plotting, seeking to gain power for themselves. The Dominion stands strong, whether a storm is coming or not.